Hello, everyone. This is Naomi Kuli, and we are here with a very special guest for my Mastering Your Soul's Gift interview series. And we have beautiful Levantay. Did I say it right?
Levantay.
Levantay. Oh, well, that's even beautiful. And we are going to talk about, like, really basically how did she get into her Master Genius, what it means to mastering your soul's gifts, and kind of like share her background story of like what happened in order to get there, the struggles, and sharing vulnerably what's that like. And so we want to just like start with you telling us like who you are, what you do, how did you really become a genius at what you do and why?
Oh boy, I don't know if I'm a genius yet, but I know that I'm working in my gift. I think that's good. I'm a college professor, I'm a success coach, I'm a singer. And what I do is I really help my clients and students to cultivate the champion mindset so that they could break through to their next level of success and to leverage their unique gifts into the work and life they love. I so believe that, too many people are doing work that sucks the life out of them. And I see where so many people even go to their grave with their gifts still inside of them. And I so believe that our primary purpose is to really find, develop, and work through that gift. That gift is not just something that we enjoy doing. It's an expression that makes us come alive. It's an expression that light up the world. And so that's what I basically do. I help people to find that gift and to develop that champion mindset that breaks them through to their next level of success. And right now I'm working on my book, The 7 Laws of the Champion Mindset, that I developed in the classroom with my students, trying to figure out what really closes the achievement gap. And also with my clients as they try to break through and all the success research. So that's something I'm very excited about working on right
I love that. That's so important to have that champion mindset, that success mindset of like going after your dreams, going after what you want, creating from that space. Like, this is what my heart actually wants to do rather than like, oh, it's just because I have this job, right? And I think like a lot of times we start off that way, like we're not sure what we want to do, and then we get into something, and then it can either lead in a good way where you're becoming your genius, right? Or it leads you in the other way, which is like, I hate my job. I don't want to go to my 9 to 5. So I think that's really a choice, right? And I think by you helping them to build that kind of like success mindset is so key in order to go after your dreams, right? And to take that mastership and go with it. So when you were growing up, like, as a child, like what lit you up and like how does that play into what you have become today?
I remember, I love this question because, you and I had a conversation for my TV show, LevantayTV, which hasn't come out yet, but will very soon. And this is one of the questions that I ask all my guests because I think we speak about genius, but I think that children are really the true geniuses because they jump out already so vibrant. And as a child, I just used to, so I grew up in Jamaica. And we had like a house with this outside veranda. It was like an opening, and my parents had lots of land because they were farmers, and this veranda was like just out there in the front, and I would climb up on it, and I would hold my hairbrush like a mic, and I would sing, and I would pretend like the grass swaying in the wind were people with their hands up swaying. And I always remember that. And even as a child, I knew that there was something that I had to do. It had to do with my voice. It had to do with connecting with people. And even as a child, I said to myself, one day the grass will be people. And I was like 7. I had no idea what that meant. But when I think of that question and I think of the journey of my life and how my life has always led me back to that space of connection to people through my voice and my creative expression, I realized just how important that that moment was growing up as a child, and just loving the idea of just singing and pretending like there are people there. I had a wild imagination. I'm last of four. My closest sibling to me is 10 years older than me, and he was a boy. So he never wanted to play with me, and I had to play with myself a lot. So I had a lot of invisible friends, and one day I was at the dinner table, and my brother came to sit next to me, and I was like, no, you're going to crush Tina. And my mom is like, who is Tina? And just went berserk. She went to my godmother's house. She's like, listen, you got to send her cousin over to play with her because this child is crazy. She's seeing people. But I just had a crazy imagination, which has led into my creativity, the writing the music, the writing the books, the speaking. And yeah, that's who I was as a child, and who I still am today.
Yeah, I mean, so it sounds like everything that you do is all about, your unique self-expression, like expressing whatever you're channeling at the moment, whether it's like singing or it's, sharing some story, right? Like it's about teaching and helping people to find their unique voice, right? The unique way that they want to show up, that they want to be vulnerable, that they want to share their story, that they're like more than just that small piece of themselves. And it sounds like you've been, on that amazing journey of like expressing. And that kind of like led you into your work that leads in more deeper into that success mindset and helping them to figure out what their gifts are, what their purpose is, and how do you bring that out into the world, right?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest lessons for me was so I now know that my primary gift is creative expression. Well, healing through creative expression, right? I now know that because of the process of my life, and I kind of help my clients, as you do, in a different way to figure out what that is. But as a child, when I was around 8 years old, my parents migrated from Jamaica to live in the United States. So they were farmers. Farming wasn't going so well, and so they came here to sort of provide for us. But I was 8, and I didn't understand why I hadn't seen my parents for a year, I was used to them going away for 2 months at a time, 3 months at a time, coming back, going back and forth. But they didn't come back for a very long time. And I didn't know how to ask why. And so I started internalizing why they left, and I thought I did something. Maybe it was me, right, as a child. And at the time, I didn't connect the dots until I was much older, but I started losing my voice. I mean, it got so bad I had to miss days at school. I could not speak, and I stopped talking, like, period. Even at school, I was in like grade 3, and I got an award for the most disciplined girl, and the teacher said to my sister, she just never talks. She's so quiet. And so, and she thought that was being disciplined, but started losing my voice. Anyway, transition forward, I got out of that class, went to another group, and I met my very outspoken best friend. We went to high school together, and then I found my voice again. I was speaking on stages. I was head of student government. I was head of the drama club. I was performing. I was acting, and I think I reconnected with my creative gifts. But when I graduated college and I got my second job out of college, first same company, the second job, and I met this boss who was really, really terrible. And I thought I was in my dream job because I was working in the media. I thought this was going to lead me to that space, and I was very excited. But then I came upon this person who was just so mean and terrible, and I felt like I could not express myself. What started to happen again? I started to lose my voice. I would not be able to speak. Like, I would croak like a frog. And so one day, a friend of mine, she knew how unhappy I was, with that boss. It wasn't really the job, it was the boss. And she said, you know what, there's a professional women's thing happening down in Chelsea, in Manhattan, just come with me. Let's go and get some advice and whatever. So I went, and of course, my friend didn't show up. And I was pissed. And at the time, I couldn't speak. So I was like, it's cold, I'm tired, I can't talk, she didn't come. So at the end of the thing that I enjoyed a lot, the woman who was there said, okay, it's early, so I have some more time. Why doesn't everyone just introduce themselves? And I was like, oh, God, I have to introduce myself. I can't talk. So she got to me, and I got up and I croaked out my name. And she was like, what's wrong? I said, well, I've been losing my voice a lot and I can't figure it out. And she's like, are you in a situation where you feel like you can't really express yourself, like you can't really stand in your power? And my mommy, I started to bawl, like tears, and in front of strangers. But then she said to me, I asked you that question because I know that sometimes our bodies will tell us certain things, and I want you to listen to your life. I tell you this, that woman set me on the path that I am today. When she said, listen to your life, I was able to, over time, not right then, but I was able to connect the losing of my voice to a warning that my gifts are in danger, to a warning that I'm off path. Now, it doesn't happen like this for everyone. But I say this to say that your gift isn't always that thing that jumps out at you and it's apparent and you know what it is. It isn't always even that thing that you're so good at. You know, it usually is the thing that you cannot run away from. And honestly, I've tried to run away from my gifts. You know, I've tried to run away from singing. I've tried to run away from speaking. I've tried to run away from all of that. And my gift would not let me go in a different direction.
Wow, that's a very powerful story. That's the basics of why you do what you do, right?
And I want
And
everyone to work in alignment with their gifts because I feel like your gift is what fuels and funds your earthly mission. So when you're in alignment with it and you're working, because as adults, we all have to work unless we're really, really rich and, you know, and a lot of people don't work just for the money. They work because work is human nature. And so if you're doing it, if you're throwing your time away in jobs you hate, then you're killing yourself.
right, exactly. So what would be like, like I love hearing your story because it goes back again to your unique self-expression, like why you lost your voice, all of that all came into fruition because like you were not allowing that part of your soul to just express itself, and whether it's speaking, whether it's singing, like all of that comes from your unique voice. So what would be like the three like must do steps to, you feel like how to get back into that soul alignment? Like when someone has that kind of situation where they're like, I lost my voice, or I don't feel loved, or I don't feel order in my life, like what is that kind of like steps that you feel that will get them back into their alignment?
I think for me and with a lot of people, I tell them, notice the discomfort. A lot of the times we try to run away from it, but I believe it is the first thing that will ground you because there is an expression that is seeking to come into the world through you. And when you're blocking it, it creates a discomfort. I had a client, she was a nurse and she wanted to be a writer and she felt like, oh, I'm a nurse and, you know, nurses have this secure job and all this stuff. She's like, I don't want to leave nursing, but I really want to take some time off to write. And I was so scared to tell my husband and but she was like, even though I love nursing, I just felt this yearning, this thing inside of me, like I wasn't doing what I need to do. And I said, listen to it. Even if you can't do it all the time, make time for it because there's an expression that is seeking to come through you. She's been able to really write and she's trying to publish right now. She has a beautiful book, a lot of energy around it. And so discomfort is the first thing. When you are out of alignment, it's like energy, it's like flow, right? It's like water, right? So when you're flowing along your path, you're going well, but when you have to go, when you're off course, it's like you're feeling like you're being veered off. And that's what I felt at first. I was in the media. Of course, you would think that would be a place for creative expression, right? Feeling like I would be in a place where I would express, the purpose. But at the same time, that wasn't mine. That wasn't my environment. And so when you listen to your life, listen to your life. Number two, man, that is it for me. Listen to your life. It's always telling you. And sometimes if you don't hear the whisper, Oprah will say, then you'll get a yell, and then soon enough you get a kick off that cliff. So that discomfort, listen to your life and really take the time to see what you want to do. So I usually tell people to write it out. write out on a piece of paper in 4 columns, write out in 1 column what you're passionate about, the things you could just do every single day. Write in the next column the things you're talented at, right? When I was growing up, I was able to always be on the tip of my toes. No one understood what that meant, that I could have been a ballerina. That's a talent that was never developed, right? Then in the next column, I think you just write out your skills, the things that you develop, and things that you've learned and the things that you've made better, even if it was a talent. Like a pianist, they might be naturally talented, but they have to practice to get better, to master it, right? So that's a skill. And then in the next column, write what you value and what others value you for. And when you look at how those things intersect, then you can kind of see where your gift lies. So it's a lot of introspection, and discomfort is like the biggest thing that usually tells you you're not where you're supposed to be.
Right. Oh, that's beautiful. That's perfect. That's exactly that process, like of rediscovering yourself, right? Rediscovering your life. I like that. Like, what is your life?
One thing I just thought about too, and I told you about my voice and losing it and that traumatic period. Watch the traumas and the wounds in your life. A lot of people try to run away from that, but these wounds are usually the cracks that let our lights out. So sometimes you might, like some children, you'll see children, they like to draw on walls and whatever, right? And I had a client, and he wanted to be an artist. He was a very good artist. But when he was a child, and over talking and talking, we realized this. When he was a child, he wrote on his mother's wall with paint. And she was like, "Oh my God, you messed up the wall." And he just crawled into his shell, and he just felt like whenever he did that, it would be a bad thing. So he had so much fear around letting other people see his work, right? But this was a yearning he couldn't get away from drawing. So I would say watch for those things. And sometimes you need guidance to rediscover these parts of yourself.
Yes. Oh, that's perfect. Like him rediscovering his ability, right, to just draw. Like that's essential. Like we don't think about it. That's something that we need to do every day, right? We just think like, I do it because I have to, right? Because I have a project, because my professor told me to do it, or something like that. But that creative expression, I think, brings out that unique voice, that unique perspective, that or the original content can come through.
Yeah.
So when you feel like giving up, like what keeps you going? Like what keeps you like in that groove and say like, okay, I can still do this? Like what is the thing that you try to do when you feel like you're giving up?
That is such a good question, because we all have those moments. And for me, especially because I know what I'm trying to express in the world, I feel like I have this obligation. I don't know, I'm weird, but I just feel like if I don't do it, then I'll die with it, and I can't die with it. So that is the number one thing. That's the number one thing, because I look at all the things that I'm doing right now, and I'm like, oh my God, what if something happens to me? No one will ever know, and no one will ever see it. So I have to really just keep on going and putting it out there. One of the other things is when I look around me, I see the sacrifices that everyone has made for me. My mother and father, because if he ever heard me talking just about my mother, my dad would be like, what about me? But my parents came to the United States, and they totally just took jobs that would help us, would financially help us. My mother came here and she worked day and night, lived in the home of some wealthy people in Westchester, took care of their children. And the girl was about my age, so she would send me the girls' hand-me-downs, and took care of their children so they could take care of us. And I was the first in my family to go to college because of that. And because my mom and my dad decided that they would really, really sacrifice for us. And then my sister, she came to take care of me when she was only like 20 or 22 when I was 8. And she came back from Kingston, back to Manchester, Spurtree, to take care of this little girl. And she was just blossoming into her own life. She became my mom and my dad. She took so much care of me. And my other sister, with such a loving heart, my brother, when I think about that, I cannot afford to give up. And then they gave me nieces who look up to me. You know, they've been to college now and they've been able to do their own thing. But when I think about that, it keeps me going. And my husband especially, he sacrifices so much. And he is such a server, you know. He serves this country, and every time I look at him, I'm like, look at all that you're doing. I can't afford to give up. You know, I do this not just for myself, but for that. Sorry, it's a long-winded story.
Well, I think like remembering your roots is so important.
Yeah.
So, is there any like last advice you have for us that someone that wants to get into their genius, like what would help them to get there?
I think first, honesty, self-honesty is number one. And surprisingly, a lot of us aren't honest with ourselves, so we chase careers and we chase things that don't belong to us. I know a girl, she just finished her PhD, and I was talking to her, and she was like, I felt like I would have this aha moment, and I would feel so fulfilled and floating on the wind because I've gotten to the end. She has a PhD now. Like, there's no more, you can't go any further, right? And she's like, I just like feel it. And I said to her, why did you do it? And she really couldn't answer that. And so really, really making sure that the path that you're on is yours to take. And that takes a lot of introspection, as I said, listening to your life, maybe working with someone. And also knowing that when you work in your genius, it's not something phenomenal for the lucky. It's yours. It's for every single person to do. And when you work in that genius is when you stand to experience the most fulfillment, the most financial prosperity. But another thing that I help my clients with is that mindset, and a lot of the people who are listening to us right now, they are successful in their fields, they're doing their thing, but sometimes we get to that level where we're supposed to get to our next level success, and it feels like there's a barrier, right? And that's where that champion mindset comes in, so that you can break through to it. So I coach my clients with two things. I call it the mindset and the gift set, which the gift set is actually your skill set in your gifts, in the expression of it.
It's beautiful. So we actually have, Levantay has given us a free gift for everyone that's listening on the call. And it's actually right on the screen. It's her website, levantay.com, free gift. So if you want to know more about her work, or how is there any other way that we could reach you?
Yeah, on my website you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook, and I love Instagram, so connect with me on Instagram too, but mainly my website. When you go to that page, you'll get access to my Mindset of Champions assessment and masterclass. It's the assessment so that you can assess your mindset right now, and then the masterclass takes you through the 7 laws of the champion mindset, so you can up-level your mindset and break through that barrier to the next level.
Thank you so much for taking your time to share more about your gifts and your story behind it, which is very fascinating. And that losing your voice and all of that.
There's also music. I taped a live concert, and they get that for free. So there's also music. I forgot.
Oh, yes. All right. Do you have anything else that you want to share with us? Any last things?
I would just say look out for my interview with Lemomi on LevantayTV. We did that way back a few months ago, and that'll be coming out, and we'll probably do a Facebook Q&A about it too, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, Levantay interviewed me on her TV show, so it's just like perfect that you come on my TV show and we get to share each other's audience and share our stories behind why we do what we do, which is the whole reason why I made this Mastering Your Soul's Gifts interview, because I wanted people to hear that like it is possible to be a genius at what you do, because the first step might be very difficult, but once you're just like in the groove and you're doing it and you find your life, right? Like you're just taking action towards it. And I want people to be inspired to like go after their dreams and go after what they really truly want, because like you said, like we only have like right now today, and who knows, you could be helping somebody else by like, just like that lady just saying that to you, like how powerful that can be. You can completely change somebody's life by just saying that one word, you know. And we always tend to forget like how valuable we give people, right? To like just by expressing our gifts in that way.
Yeah. And you know, my interview series was called The Beautiful Light Workers, and it's based on the same thing. When I mentioned you, we were talking about it, and I was like, oh my God, it's not usually that I'm who who vibe, who speak the same language. You know? So that was really, really cool. I'm honored to be here, and I hope that I helped and touched someone somewhere.
Thank you. All right. Well, until next time, we have our episodes every 2 weeks. And this is where I interview amazing people who are geniuses at what they do. And so every Wednesday, I'm interviewing for the next, I guess for the next year for now. But if you want to know more about this, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Naomi Kili Kuli, which is my name. And also you can also like my Facebook page, and then you can see all of this updates of LevantayTV whenever you have a chance. All right, everyone have a beautiful day. Aloha. Bye.